Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Dad Talk Today, Sunday edition. We got Jimmy Smith over here. He's going to be providing some great dating advice today, and who knows what else. Before we get started, though, be sure to pull out your phones and hit that smash the like button, the share, the follows. You can support us on Patreon, Venmo, Cash App, Dad Talk Today. But be sure to pull your phone out, like and share. Give Jimmy here some love. Jimmy, how are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I don't know. I must have done okay last week because you guys invited me back. I guess you want more pain or something. I don't know.
Nah, man, this is awesome. I love having you on. Don't tell Eric, but no, I love having you on. It's great. We got a lot of good feedback. A lot of guys and girls, don't know why, but a lot of the fairer sex, they wanted to see you back here. I still can't figure out why. I kept getting asked, dude, what's his Instagram? I'm just curious. And I got to tell you, after the show last week, I went downstairs and my wife is like, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? And just want to know all about you. So, and I got a hold of you last night, and I was out with some friends of some females out at a bar, and I told them what was going on, and they were just captivated. They just could not wait. But anyway, it was a great thing. No, we'd love having you here. It's going to be great. We're going to be looking at doing this as a ongoing series and everything, and just really, do that, because really, I mean, we've talked about, Dad Talk Today. We talk about a lot of stuff, good, bad, but this is Dad Talk. This is all those different things, and you bring a really cool element to the show with having, a cool background. I mean, hearing about your life and everything, and then of course you do a lot of stuff to help people out. I mean, you're here to help, dads and parents, moms, everybody to get healthier and do that. And that's kind of some of the things that you do. We're going to be talking today about dating advice and tips and stuff like that. So I don't know if you want to give kind of a quick bio or kind of jump into it. It's sure. All the floor is yours.
So, for about a decade now, I've been helping a lot of men mostly, but I've been doing relationship counseling as well on the side. My specialty is in health and wellness because I work as a clinic director in a clinic. I oversee a clinic that oversees that specializes in obesity medicine. My focus is really helping people get into better health. But it's not just your physical body that really needs to be hauled over. It's also your mind. And I have a passion for helping men because the world that we live in today doesn't really support a lot of men's health. It kind of suppresses it. There's a lot of guys out there that are struggling. Feminism has changed the game for the nuclear family. It's changed the game for the online dating market. And a lot of guys are really struggling trying to gain traction there. Mm-hmm. So what I basically have done is I just been kind of locking arms with these guys, giving them tips and advice on how to navigate this crazy dating market that we live in right now. So today, what I figured I'd do is, for the guys who are, finding themselves single for the first time in a while, or struggling with the online dating market, or just complexed on why women act the way that they do, let me kind of share some advice with you guys today on what you can do to navigate through this cesspool and try to get as many opportunities as you can to find someone who's going to be, an asset to your life.
Yeah, the compatibility piece of it. And I'm a married guy, third time at the bat. I'll just get it out there in full disclosure. It took me a couple tries to get it right. Three times, yes, 3 times. Yeah.
Do I say I'm sorry or congratulations? Which one?
Congratulations. My wife, my third wife, again, it took me a couple tries. She is a rock star. I mean, we're very compatible. I'm a nerd. And I know we're probably going to talk about the probabilities of a nerd finding love. I'm sure that's pretty low on the list. My Megatron helmet doesn't probably, get the ladies all excited. They don't, bring the girls to the yard. But, I would say, also this is for married guys, because even though you're married, you're still dating your spouse. I mean, it's not, you put the ring on and that's it. I know they want to say that, but you're still there's things that you do to let your spouse know that they're special and things like that. And I know we'll probably put a decent amount of this on the single, what's this Tinder thing, or what's this, or how do you do the online, how do you navigate the grocery store when you see a cute girl that you want to approach and all that stuff. But it's going to be for everybody, and it's for the ladies to let them know, hey, this is, maybe have them take a checkup from the neck up, I like to say, on kind of what's out there. I mean, we've looked at a lot of statistics, a lot of data on what women are looking for, and some maybe the unrealistic expectations that might be out there, and just all those things. But we got a lot of stuff. And actually, for the folks out there that are watching here, thank you for joining. But if you have questions, you have got you've got a wealth of resources. I mean, you've had Eric and me on, and our dating advice isn't going to be the greatest. I mean, look at us. You got this guy. I was going to make some jokes. I was going to accidentally drop something and go, "Oh, I got to get my thing over
yeah,
and stuff like that." But I'll save that for later. Anyway, Jim,
but hey, you actually bring up a really good point earlier whenever you were talking about how married guys can benefit from some of this stuff. Whenever I'm working with married guys, I find there's a lot of transferable skills between what I'm teaching guys who are single to what I teach guys who are actually in a committed monogamous relationship. And a lot of the transferable skills is basically, how does a man maintain his frame? Because at the end of the day, wedding ring or no wedding ring, we're still dealing with females, and we still have to make sure that we're in our masculinity, and that we're still the kind and caliber of man that woman wants to be around and be a part of on a day-to-day basis. And what I find a lot of times, I actually saw one of these memes, and it showed this strong, confident, roaring lion, and it said before marriage, and then it showed some cowering, kind of lion where this lioness was barking at him. Have you seen that meme?
I have seen that meme.
Yeah, and it talks about how it is, after you're married, and of course that's a joke, but in the back of our minds, there's some truth to that, isn't there? Because because what we do as men is we try to make ourselves the best kind of man to get the best quality of woman. Right. And then what men do is whenever we get into the relationship, sometimes we take our foot off the gas a little bit and change our behaviors for good intentions. Right. But whenever we do change from that kind of man that we portrayed in the beginning, it does alter the paradigm in which our woman looks at us. And sometimes that woman unknowingly will start to emasculate her man. And it's like a death by 1,000 cuts. You won't see it on a weekly, you won't feel it on a monthly, but as the years go by, you fast forward enough years, and the dynamics of that relationship between you and her definitely change. And she starts to kind of take over and wear the pants. And I'm not saying that there's no way of having success, but I will say this. Women, if they feel a certain way about a man, she will start to dip into a little bit of disrespect, a little bit of unappreciation, and men really hold true to wanting respect and appreciation. So today, the married men, please pay attention to some of these tips, because you can still maintain your masculine frame, and by using some of these tips to make sure that you still maintain the control of the relationship, and you're leading and being the kind of man that she wants to follow.
Right. Oh, yeah. Actually, in last week's show, and definitely everybody go out and watch that one. Not now. Wait till we're off air. But you had talked about when you went on a date with a young lady, you went to the restaurant, and there was, I think, a prom or whatever, and you were talking with the kid there and showing her that you're nice, being nice to the wait staff and all that. And, things that you did to let her know that, one, she was special, two, you were a nice guy, and three, to create there was an event afterwards where you create just a little bit of the right level of jealousy, because jealousy, it gets a bad rap, but the right kind, where she went to the restroom and you struck up a uneventful conversation with another lady.
Did we talk about that on air or off air? I think it was off air, wasn't it?
Oh,
yeah. I think we talked, because I don't think we talked about that on air. So a lot of people probably don't recognize that story, because I think we talked about it off air. But that's a great point, though. I mean, that's a good example of some of the things that I teach men. I actually applied in my own date in this situation, and it really makes sure that I can stay in that frame that I want to be in, and have women chasing and not me chasing them.
Yeah. Sorry if sometimes I get confused on what's on air and off air, and I try to go, this is something I can't talk about, but my bad if I give away any tips or secrets. But, well, and I mean, the bigger picture here is that, felt that your date was important, and you're like, this is, this is who you are. You're not putting on a front that you're going to be nice to everybody. You're going to do this, but you're trying to, create that relationship and make her feel important, and go through, going through the date and letting her know, different things, so you can have a good relationship, and kind of set the stage up for, how, and these are things that, guys and girls, but guys these are tips they need to have. They need to know, because usually nowadays, I joke about this, my wife's going to laugh, but, I show up to dates now, well, we're married, but in sweatpants and t-shirts. You say that you make it a point to dress appropriately, dress nice, show that, and that, it's a confidence builder. And, there's all these different things that you do. And I'm trying getting out of order in the way you're wanting to go. But just, there's a lot of things that you're supposed to do. Do you want to jump into like dating profiles? I mean, I got some funny stories on dating profiles, but to show you the ones not to have, and actually a successful one. But do you want to jump like right into dating profiles and successes or discussion there?
Yeah. So let's talk about it. I mean, let's go ahead and get right into it. So, in today's online market, there's no surprise that we're meeting people online more than we ever have before. 20 years ago, I was hitting on women at the club. I was hitting on women at the grocery store, things like that. In today's world, it just doesn't happen that way as much. Although I think that men still should try to pursue women outside of online dating. The reality is that 98% of all people are doing online dating, and it's kind of becoming a thing of the past to do things face to face anymore. So if that's the case, and we can debate whether or not we should do that another time, but let's go ahead and talk about online dating.
Online dating.
It doesn't surprise men to know that they are in a disadvantage when it comes to online dating. Okay. Yep. Because men are very visual. We pick women with our eyes first, not the only thing that we pick off of, but that's the first thing we pick off of. Women tend to pick men off of their ears first, what the man says. Mm-hmm. And that's why when you look at it and you really think about it, when men and women lie, men lie with our words because we know that women like to hear things, and women lie with their looks because they know we like to see things. And what I mean by looks, fake hair, fake eyelashes, fake eyeballs, fake lips, fake boobs, fake butt, fake nails. I mean, the list goes on, right? So, and again, no heat, no judgment, not saying that it's good or bad or indifferent. I'm just saying that's where we're at. So the disadvantage that men have is that men are not chosen by their looks initially. It is, of course, something that women want. Women, of course, want good-looking men. But where men would put looks at the top 3, women might put looks in the top 10. So the challenge with that is that you're going to have to change the way that you do your profiles, because when people are clicking, women in general, they don't get a chance to hear your words. They don't get a chance to necessarily understand who you are. So a lot of it has to do with what kind of pictures you put. So, setting up a good profile is extremely important to the success rate of whether or not you're going to get swiped on or not. Right. Whenever you're setting up a profile, you have to make sure that you're picking pictures that tell a story. Okay. Women want to envision themselves in your life. So you have to present an exciting, fun life that they want to be a part of. Bathroom selfies are not fun, and women don't want to hang out with you in a bathroom. You've got to tell a story. Put pictures of yourselves doing certain events, things that you find fun. Have you noticed that, like, when you aren't thinking about chasing women, that women come find you? Have you ever noticed, like, people say, hey, don't even like actively try to date, just be on your purpose, do your life. And then you find out that when you're not even trying to find women, heck, even like when you're married, some married men will often tell me, I got more women chasing me now that I'm married than I ever did when I was single.
What is up with that? I don't want to detract, but what is up with that? I went to a restaurant with my wife. We're sitting right there. The waitress I didn't realize because I'm dumb, but the waitress was hitting on me in front of my wife. What is up with that?
So the short answer is that women are very hypergamous, and women want the best kind and caliber of man that they can get for their sexual marketplace value. And I'm okay with hypergamy. I'm not going to sit here and debate that right now either. All I'm saying that is that if women get a chance to set the rules of the game, they always have. But if men are smart, we can beat them at their own game, right? So if you know that women are hypergamous and they want to be a part of a life that you're trying to generate, the reason why men, when they're not paying attention to actively trying to find women, are being successful, it's because they're living their lives. And the life that they're living is interesting. And women go, there's something about that guy. He's not pursuing me. He's not a white knight. He's not a fanboy of me. He doesn't even care or even act like I'm even there. So I'm going to try to put myself in his space, and I want to be plugged into his life. You know, you're out with your wife. You guys are having a good time. She might be single. She might be recently just broke up with someone, and she wants to be at the table with you, having a dinner with a good, handsome man and feeling that connection. And so without her even knowing it, she's subconsciously hitting on you because she wants to be plugged into what you got going on. Same thing whenever guys are single and they're out there and they're on a bowling league, or they're playing golf, or they're doing networking events. Yeah, you know, things like that. You know, women are looking at that and they're saying, you know, I can see myself going out to NASCAR events with this guy, sitting in the front row with him. He looks like he's having a blast. I want to be a part of that. So, you know, the part of the reason is that when you're building your life and you're doing things, women see that and they want to be a part of what you got going on. So whenever you put a profile together, don't sound like a homebody and don't portray yourself as a man that submerges himself in his woman. You don't want to over simp, okay? You don't want to tell her that she's the world and tell her that you want to be with her every day. They will appreciate that because everyone likes validation, but trust me, she's not going to respect you long term if you act that way. Right. You might think that's what they want to hear, and some women will even tell you that is what they want, but it's not. Okay, women want fun and excitement. They're not a man that lives for them, despite what they say. So let's go on to profile pictures. Now that we know that, let's talk about profile pictures. What you want to do when you create a profile is you want to have 5 to 6 pictures max, with the main profile picture being the solo picture in a natural state. Maybe with you like slightly looking off camera with a smirk on your face. Your first photo is there you go.
45-degree angle to hide the double chin, right? Gotta do that, you know, up here.
Right, exactly. You know, so that first look is your first impression. You know, that's the flagship of it. And also use what I would call a pattern disrupt. Okay. Most pictures on profiles are very similar. So think about whenever you're on the profile and you're swiping, right? You're swiping. After you get like 5, 6, 10 swipes, they all start to kind of blend together. I mean, you guys are not, listen, we all know guys are not reading profiles. They're looking at pictures. So keep in mind that the women are doing the same thing for you. If you've got an kind of profile picture, you're going to be swiped left on. A pattern disrupt is something like a profile picture in front of a bright colored wall or background. This pattern disrupt will, you know, catch the attention of the viewer and get them to take a few more moments than she originally would have. Right. So let me give you an example. If she runs into 10 pictures of guys standing in front of their car or bathroom selfies, and then they find your picture and you're leaning back on a yellow wall, and the background is completely, exactly. Or how about that background? Like look how colorful and great that background is, Dwayne. If you had a profile picture with a background that gave a pattern disrupt like what you're in front of right now, it would give her the extra 2 seconds that you need in order for her to actually stop and go, all right, what's this about? So use a pattern disrupt. Make sure that your profile picture background and forward picture is not the exact same as everybody else's. Okay. Also make sure your pictures tell a story. Okay. The rest of the pictures on your profile should paint a story about your life, and make sure you paint it in a way that she could see herself be a part of it. Don't have more than 1 pictures of you with your friends. I would recommend a picture with you and your friends because it makes it seem like you're social, you're not an introvert, things like that. But more than 1 picture with your friends leads women to believe that you're a party guy, and that's going to turn off a lot of women. Don't cover your face with like a mask or glasses, okay? no upward or downward sharp angles with, your pictures. Set up a tripod and take pictures close to your height level, and never do 3 photos or less. Women want to see who you are. Okay. So a picture that's maybe 3/4 like the view you guys are seeing now, and then a full body picture, a picture with your friends, a picture with you and your dog would be a great picture. If you're into a hobby like NASCAR or boating or an airplane or baseball or flag football, then take a picture of you doing something that you love. Tell a story, because I want her to envision you being a part of that story. Another thing too is you guys have to understand that although looks are important, they are overrated. So if you're not the best looking guy in the world, do not fret. It's not a big deal. You don't have to be, Rico Suave. You don't have to be an extremely good looking man, but you want to put your best foot forward. Women like to have fun and they like to enjoy their time. So make sure that your pictures portray that, no matter how good or ugly you might be. Okay. You still have a chance on this open dating market. Women care more about how they would feel hanging out with you than how hot you are. So bring your fun vibe to your pictures. Good vibe photos don't showcase necessarily how attractive you are. They showcase how fun you are if they were with you. So those are some tips, guys, that I would give you whenever selecting the best profile pictures you can.
Awesome. Well, I do want to share a story. Actually, my wife jumped in, and it's it's kind of a funny story. I'll be put her comment up there. I've been married now for 5 years. So we actually met on Tinder. I know it's embarrassing probably to say that, married and happy, loving relationship. But when we met, the thing that got her to pick me is I did a picture in black and white, because everybody else's pictures were apparently in color and all this other stuff. And I got her in black. I got her in black and white. I did a black and white picture, and apparently that was different or whatever. And she's like, "Who is this guy?" And then the rest is history. And now our joke is, she's like, "God, that black and white picture. If I would have just swiped left, that I would have finally been done with you." But yeah, that was the thing. So that was my hook. I did the black and white, 45-degree angle and all that. So that was my thing. But yeah, having those pictures, having a number of them, having your friends. Now, what do you think about? Again, most of us guys, do have children and stuff like that. What I think I know the answer, but what do you think about having your kids on? And this would be, I guess, for male and female. Having your kids on your Tinder or whatever, I don't know what's out there, but Plenty of Fish, whatever profiles.
Right. So I would say it's especially for women. I'll give women this advice. I would not take pictures of my kids, because men, generally speaking, do not want to raise the legacy of another man's child. So if you go on there and you're talking about how your kids are your world in the first 3 lines of your profile, and 3 out of 6 of your profile pictures are you with your kids, I promise you, ladies, it's not a promoter of your profile. It's a detractor. And I know your kids mean the world to you, and they should. Right. Your kids are extremely important to you, but you have to understand they're just kids to us. We don't have that emotional connection. They're just like any other people to us. And what it sends is a message that you are so busy with your kids that you're never going to have time for me. And it's going to be really hard for a man to take you seriously when he knows that at the best he's going to get is seeing you twice a month on, every other weekend. You're more likely to be put into a rotation of women than be a exclusive woman. So if you want a man that's going to be monogamous with you, yes, of course, come out and tell him that you have children. Let him know that from the rip. But I don't necessarily think that having photos with your children is going to be a promoter. And I say that from personal experience. I oftentimes will not select a woman with children unless her profile sends a message that attracts me. So, play it the same way that men play it. If men have to tell a story to get you guys to envision themselves in his life, you tell the same story for men. And as far as men goes, again, I would err on the side of maybe not having pictures with your kids. It's not in all cases a detractor at all. I would disclose that you do have kids, because men are a little more accepting, because a lot of women out in the dating market, when they're over 30 years old, do have children. But women, if you read their profiles, and guys will tell you, they just come out and write and tell you, I don't date guys with kids. I mean, right on their profile. So it is what it is, guys. Don't try to hide it. Just come out and say that you have kids. I don't necessarily think that you have to actually put the pictures of your kids, but certainly disclose that you do, because I don't want you guys wasting time on women trying to change their minds. Just move on to someone who is more interested in you, that doesn't mind.
Okay, that makes sense. No, it's good. Yeah, I definitely want to move on to bios and things like that. But I did have one question, and this might put you in an awkward situation, but would you have the Dad Talk Today cup tumbler on your profile picture, which is, by the way, it's available on sale now, along with other goods and items on the Dad Talk Today website. But would this be this probably tells a woman that you're sensible, that you know good value, because you can put beverages in this and it'll stay cold all day. But it's I would probably personally put it in my profile.
Yeah, so I always recommend 3 to 5 Dad Talk Today cups in your profile picture. Right. You know, it shows sophistication, and look how handsome Eric is. I mean, come on.
I was going to say, I mean, maybe if you did that, maybe it'll create that, whatever it is, that draw that Eric has, that magnetism.
Yes.
That maybe, I don't know.
No more than 5 though, guys, because I noticed that when I put like 8 of Eric's cups in my profile, I kept getting asked if he was single, and I didn't really like it. I was a little embarrassed, so I backed it down to like 5 total cups.
They blow my number. Hey, you got Eric's number? I get ladies. He's married. Just leave him alone. Yeah. Leave something for the rest of us. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. Exactly. Anyway, moving on to bio. I got a little triggered there. I hate Eric stealing all the women from us. It's so tiresome. But bios. Let's kind of jump into bios here.
Speaking of pictures, and what we should do, let's also talk about some photo no-nos.
Oh.
Like bios are absolutely important, and we're going to jump into that. But before we move on to bios, I mentioned the things that guys should do to be promoters of their profile pictures, but let's talk about some of the things that I hear from women that are very frequent, that they just roll their eyes. And guys, if you have dating profiles right now and this hits home, get on your phone after the show is done and take them damn pictures off, okay?
After you like and subscribe to Dad Talk Today, get on your Tinder or whatever it is profile and change these things. Sorry, gotta get
that's correct. Yeah, get on your phone, hit the subscribe button to Dad Talks Today, and then log on to Tinder and take these damn photos off. So here's some of the most common no pictures that women always are telling me, Jimmy, why do men do this? And I have to always sit there, guys, behind the scenes and support why you guys do this, and you guys are giving me a bad look. So please stop doing this. Number 1, no photos with you and other women. Guys, please, really? What are you doing? Yes. Okay, don't do it. I don't care if she's your sister. Women don't know who your sister is.
Right.
The first thing they're going to think is that that's an ex-girlfriend. And if you remember, guys, women are trying to envision themselves in your life. If you have a picture with a woman and she thinks right off the rip that could be an ex-girlfriend, that's not picturing herself in your life. No photos with other women, okay? Unless it's a group setting. The second thing, no gym pics. Stop with the freaking gym pics, okay? You're not impressing women. Yes, women like men with good physiques. Yes, you've worked in the gym for 5 years. You're a certified bona fide stud. I get it. Awesome. But don't take pictures in the gym. Why? Because you have the same picture as the last 8 out of 10 guys that she swiped on. Yeah. Third, no fancy car pictures. Stop with the car picture. I get it. You love your car. You put a lot of money and time into it, but it's not a good look. Why? Because there's a ton of men with fancy car pictures. You're looking a little desperate. What you're basically saying in this picture is, hey, look how much money I have. I'm trying to portray myself as high value. And if you're the kind of guy who has to talk about how much money he has, women are not dumb. They pretty much know that if you're bragging about your money, you probably don't have much money. Guys who are wealthy, they don't brag about their money. They show their work. They don't talk about it. Yep. Another thing too, and this is what I get all the time, and I can completely understand it, but please, guys, take this picture off your profile right now. No pictures with fish. Stop. Stop with the pictures with the fish. Okay. You're like,
yeah, no, got my fish. Look at this.
Okay. You like the fish. You caught a really good fish.
Yeah.
Awesome. But please, no pictures with dead deer, no pictures with fish. Women just roll their eyes whenever they see that. Okay. This one here is strange, and I could not believe that men do this, but I'm just going off of what my female friends tell me. Yeah. I still cannot believe this to myself. And if you are a guy who has this picture on right now, log off this podcast and never come back. I didn't want to see you. This is just ridiculous. No pictures with birds on your shoulder. Yes, men actually take pictures with effing birds on their shoulders. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. Another one that's a bad look, and guys do this often. Women will tell you. Ladies, if tell me if I'm lying. Put it in the little chat right now if I'm lying. Yeah. Okay. How many pictures do you see of men holding their middle finger up? It's constant. What? Don't flip off the camera, guys. You're not a thug. You're not Pookie and Ray Ray. It's not impressive, and you don't come across masculine. You come across immature. Stop with the middle finger pictures. Also, no pictures of you holding stacks of money. That falls into the same line of you and your fancy cars. If you're holding stacks of money, trust me, this woman knows that you probably took that picture in April after TurboTax gave you your refund, and you went down to Wells Fargo and got them all cashed out in 20s, and you're holding a big old stack full of your 20s because your income tax came in. Please stop. No pictures with money. And the last thing I'd give you advice on is no pictures of you drinking beer. It's just a bad look. Guys, if you remember when women look, there you go. Yeah, Liz says, or no guns and drugs. Why would you hold a gun or hold drugs? If women, that's a great point, Liz. If women are envisioning themselves in your life and you're holding pictures of you with birds on your shoulder, drugs in your hand, money or guns, is that really the life that you think most women are going to go, you know what? I really need? I need a guy who does drugs and sells drugs. Yeah, that's what I need. Yeah. A guy who does drugs all day. That'll be a great relationship that I can brag about in the future. So guys, those are some good profile no-nos as far as pictures go. Please try to avoid those at all costs.
No, but you want to be authentic and honest. I mean, not that I'm gonna. Well, I don't know. I mean, hopefully I'm never single again. But my background, I'm a nerd. I love Transformers. This would probably not be a good pick unless. I mean, I guess where I'm kind of getting to is honesty. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a total nerd. I don't like going out too much. I end up doing that, but for the most part, Comic-Cons and that type of stuff, that's my jam. If I were to create one and just let my wife know I'm not going to create one, she's like rolling her eyes going, yeah, I know you're never going to get another one. Where's that line? Because Eric, he loves to hunt, and that's a passion of his. And I get the whole sitting there with a 12 gauge or an AR or whatever, but where's that, I guess, line where you show, or is it you're doing more of a profile-y pick where it's a headshot and decent background? I mean, how much, I guess, where's that line?
So, a great question. And I want you guys to understand, I'm not saying to men to lie to women about what you love, okay? So if you love fast cars and you have one or two of them, I'm not saying lie to them. What I'm saying is that we are judged off of a 1 second snapshot, and women will make, just like we do to them. I mean, let's be honest, guys. We don't even look at all their pictures. So if they got a profile picture that we don't like, we swipe left on them. Same thing that they're doing for you. Yeah. If you love to hunt, or Dwayne, let's go ahead and use you. I would use a picture like that in your profile. I would, because it's a rarity. There's not 7 out of 10 guys with pictures of what's back there. Voltron. What is that back there? I don't even know.
And Transformers.
Yeah. Okay.
Transformers and Voltron. I got both.
Okay, cool. So, hey, rock and roll. So, if you like Comic-Con and you're a little bit of a self-proclaimed nerd, then take a picture of that, because if 10 guys all put pictures of Voltrons and things like that, then I would give you the advice of doing something different, because I don't want you to blend in with the rest of the people.
Right. Okay.
But you're going to be 1 out of 50 that they might run by that does that. And there are women out there who are a little bit more introverted, who kind of like that nerdy little feel. And I would also recommend you taking a picture of, if you are in Comic-Con with I've never been to one, but aren't there like famous people that go there and sign autographs?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then and what about like dressing up? What is that called when they dress up? Cosplay?
Yeah, cosplay. Oh yeah, love the cosplay. I do all that stuff. That's actually what was my finishing move with my wife, is I'd send her pictures of me hanging out with all the guys at Comic-Con, oddly enough. So
yeah. Hey. So imagine you taking a picture with what's his name? Captain Picard from Star Trek Next Generation, right? If she knows who Captain Picard is, you're guaranteed to get a reply message from her saying, how awesome, did you meet? That's great. You met Captain Picard. I'm a big fan. So yes, absolutely. If you're going to take a picture of you dressed up for Comic-Con, I would recommend not one of those serious stoic faces. Like have fun with it.
Right.
Show how much fun you're having, because even if she's never been to Comic-Con, she loves to have fun, and she's going to enjoy the fact that you're so happy with it, and she'll want to plug herself into it. I'm not a huge Comic-Con a person, but I would absolutely go with you guys if you guys went and have a great time doing it. So absolutely.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is my wife had no chance. Once
Correct.
All this got put on the scene for her, she was done for. She's putty in my hands. Okay.
Pretty much. I mean, just go ahead and throw a ring on her, stick a fork in her, she's done.
Done. All right. She had no choice. I'm cool with that. No, that's good. So for the rest of the folks out there, she was first time we met, probably more personal. I have a picture with Stan Lee, who's the godfather of all comics. I mean, I waited in line for 3 hours to get his picture and stuff. And the first time my wife, well then girlfriend, came over to my house and saw it, she's like, "Is that your grandfather?" I almost broke up with her. I was like, "You don't know who Stan Lee is? He is, the man, the Marvel man."
Correct.
A lot of funny stories. And she wasn't a nerd, but I nerded her out over the years. She's
if they don't know who Stan Lee is, she's out.
That's a red flag. I'm just going to throw it out there. Yeah.
Is Brandy your wife? Is that who your wife is?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. This lovely lady right there holding my belly, hiding it from everybody. But that's my lovely bride. Awesome. She I've been through a lot together, and I hooked her in with that black and white photo that we still fight about to this day, and then over time, showed her a picture of me at Comic-Cons, oddly enough, and then that just romance blossomed.
So let's go back to your point, because some of the tactics that you use unknowingly really help turn into a long-term relationship that led to marriage. Yeah. So guys, what I want you to do, guys, is, so let's use Dwayne's analogy, right? He's at Comic-Con, he has a picture with Stan Lee, or he's in cosplay and he's taking a really fun picture of him having a great time. Mm-hmm. This is what I want you guys to do. Use that as what I call a clickbait photo, okay? Mm-hmm. A clickbait photo is a photo that makes it easy for her to comment on. Examples are, let's say that you have a photo in a background and there's a couple people looking at the person taking your picture, and in your bio it says, "I just want someone to look at me that way, the way that some people look at me in that last photo." So that would be an example of a clickbait photo. Or a picture with an animal and say something like, I don't know, like, "Let's come as a package deal," or like you with an animal and it goes, "We come as a package deal," like me and my dog. It'll elicit a comment from her, and I plan on talking about in my profile, I have a picture. I went on Amazon, bought like a $20 chef hat. I got a chef hat and an apron, and I took a picture of myself cooking dinner in a kitchen. And you can tell I'm having a good time. I'm laughing. In one hand, I've got a plate of like chicken, and the other hand, I've got a whole bowl full of like asparagus. And it's just a photo that you can tell I'm having a good time. And what I do is I'll say, if we connect, our first date might look like this. And then I said, see last photo. And what it did was it made her scroll through my pictures to find the last photo. And it's a picture of me in a kitchen cooking food. And now it elicited a clickbait response. And then I constantly get women saying, hey, what's your favorite dish to make? Hey, are you a real chef? Hey, I find a man who cooks attractive. Guys, use clickbait photos and say something like, take a picture of you and your dog and say, my last picture is proof that we come as a package deal. It'll make her scroll through your pictures, see that last picture, and then you'll have a better chance of getting her to respond to you and gives her something to talk about. Make it easy for her. Amongst the 30 matches that she has, make it easy for her to come out and say, oh my God, I'm also a fan of Comic-Con.
Actually, I'm glad you brought up like the picture you're using as you in a chef hat, acting goofy, having fun and everything. And again, to make it kind of personal, I mean, when you look at your profiles over Jimmy Smith 3000 on Instagram, and I think you're getting some other stuff going. You have some other little more revealing photos of in you and your life and everything. And I would just say, kind of pointing it towards the guys and girls out there, it sounds like that's not your main photo. You do this is the kind of the part that I play, and I've got the physique, whatever, but this is who I really am, having fun, chef hat, doing stuff like that. So, right. For the guys like me, as I'm single again, I'm like a 3 or 4 on a good day if the light hits me right. You're definitely up into that 8, 9, 10 area. Definitely what and I think we'll talk about later. What women are looking for. A guy like me is like, man, if I had your physique and I had, your past history and success, that's what I would put up me at the gym. I mean, right. You were talking about don't do this. It sounds like that's not what you do. You put, I'm in the chef hat, I'm the dork, I'm the having the fun guy.
Very good point. So, I've been in fitness for 24 years. And back in the day, I used to do things like fitness modeling. I've done calendar shots and things like that. I've done a lot of great photos that I think that if most men had been able to do, they would absolutely use that as their photo picture on their profile. Right. But guys, don't do that. Here's why. Okay, men always think that women act the way we want. Act the way we do. For instance, men are very visual, right? So we like naked women or women that are exposing themselves, all that stuff. We want to see skin. And what we make a mistake of is that because we want to see it, we automatically assume that they want to see it. And that's why men, I think, take shirtless selfies in the bathroom, because we're trying to give them what we really want to see. But women don't act that way. They're not as visual as we are. They connect more on their emotions, how they feel about the kind and caliber of man you are or the lifestyle you live. So even though I do have some pictures that are modeling pictures on my Instagram. My Instagram's Jimmy Smith 300.
300. Sorry.
Yeah, 300. I don't use those pictures on my profile because I don't want to be like every other guy out there. I also don't want to portray myself as the kind of guy that walks around eating birdseed and works out all day. I actually love going out to eat, enjoying life. It's just that Monday through Friday, I try to stay fit. On the weekends, I do whatever I want. But if I was to post a picture of me fit with abs, then it would portray a lifestyle that this guy can never take his foot off the gas. He never can have fun. He probably has women throwing himself all over him. I don't want to portray those things to my woman. I'm looking for one woman. I want a monogamous LTR, long-term relationship. And those kinds of pictures don't elude getting a woman to want to be a part of your lifestyle if she thinks that you're just another guy who's a player. And the truth is that I'm not a guy who runs around with multiple women. I just have done some really cool things in my life. So whenever her and I are connecting, if she wants to know more about me, I'll say, hey, look me up on my IG. And then once I have her number or whatever, and she looks at my IG, then we'll have conversations about me doing a photo shoot for Men's Health back in 2000, whatever. And so it's no big deal. But what you put on your profile will make or break whether or not you even get a chance to speak to this woman. So you got to choose the right photos.
Yeah, I definitely want to jump into the what next piece, but do we want to talk about the other side with women, what they put on their profile, and some gotchas and some don't do this? You said you've heard from a lot of people do you hear from men saying if women do the up close, you can see her nostril hairs up close like this because she's not the most healthy person in the world. You find out that's why they do that. You know, they'll put that picture there. Any advice for the ladies? Thing to do and not to do.
Yeah. So when I speak to men, when the overwhelmingly large majority of men's complaints is the fact that women use filters and they use crafty angled photos that basically try to hide what weight they are. So it's not a hard fast rule that draw a line in the sand. But if you find a woman that does a lot of like photos of like right here, if a woman had a very sexy fit physique, trust me, she would show a full body picture.
Right.
Okay. She would show something in a dress, something feminine, and that displays. Like for instance, I'm fully clothed in my pictures, but I'm dressed either in a suit or I'm dressed in like a form-fitting shirt with slacks. Yeah. I don't have to be shirtless for a woman to see the physique that I have. They can tell themselves. So, the thing about it is guys are oftentimes complaining about going on dates and it looks like a completely different version of the woman that they saw online. They're 30 pounds heavier than they thought that she would be, or their skin doesn't look as beautiful as the pictures do because he forgot that there's filters out there. So my advice to women is I understand that you want to attract, the highest level guy you can, but ladies, you have to understand that guys are going to, put you into one of a few categories, and they want transparency the same way you want transparency. So if you're just a little deconditioned right now, ladies, and you're not in the shape that you necessarily want to be, don't hide it. Be honest. Guys out there, they come in all shapes and sizes too. And, just be out there, be honest, because the last thing in the world you want, be natural. Tiffany says, be natural. That's a great point, Tiff. So just be natural, be honest, because all you're doing, ladies, is you're just wasting your time, your effort, your gas money, showing up to these dates with guys who are, not going to be interested because you don't check off their boxes as well. So I do, promote transparency on both the men's and women's side. And so finding the right difference of pictures that show that you're fun, what kind of person you are, and of course, your fitness, your level of fitness, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, is very important.
Oh yeah. Well, and the thing is, guys, I mean, I'll be honest, we'll sleep with you. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but we'll never call you back. We'll never, if you're looking for that LTR, long-term relationship or marriage material, it won't happen. You'll get either put in rotation or you'll be a one-night stand, to put it bluntly. I mean,
yeah, exactly. And the delusion of women in today's world is pretty out there. Women live in a world right now where they get so many matches, no matter how heavy they are, that they actually think that their sexual marketplace value is higher than it actually is. Yeah. And what women are mistaking is they're mistaking the fact that they can get a lot of men that want to sleep with them with they can get a lot of men that want to keep them. And that's just not true. Okay. Women don't get credit for the amount of men they sleep with. They get credit for the amount of men they can keep. So if a woman is a 5, Eric's like, them boys be thirsty. They will, boy. I tell you, man, guys, I mean, some of you guys are just embarrassing me out there, man. You all need to stop. Just stop. Like, don't even entertain some of these women out there. Please stop. You're just making it harder for the rest of us. Yeah. So, the delusion of some of these women out there is really, really crazy. Women have changed the online dating market game, and they're doing it at their own demise. And here's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
When you ask women what it is, what kind of man they want, they will give you these grandiose stats or whatever.
6 foot tall, $100,000 a year, long appendage.
Yeah. It's all the sixes, right? It's always the sixes. 6 foot, 6 figures, 6 inches, 6 pack.
Yeah, 12 pack. How's that? I mean, mine's just covered. Mine's covered to keep it warm and comfy.
Well, see, Dwayne's a good example of why have a six pack when you can have a keg.
Boom.
Hey, there you go.
I'm there. I'm your man.
So women will get out there and 99% of all the women out there are looking for the same, top 10% of guys out there. And women are doing that at their own demise. And what I mean by that is when now what you have is like 80 to 90% of the guys out there who get hardly any matches at all.
Yep.
And then you get 10% of the guys out there who are getting all the matches. And when you get guys in a situation where they have a plethora of women flaunting over them, you've moved away from monogamy and now you move into polyamory. So these guys are not going to be faithful to you, ladies. You're creating the kind of man that you complain about, because you know how men are. They have a hard time being faithful anyways. But if you give 10% of the guys access to 99% of the women, you're going to really lower the chances of these guys being in a monogamous relationship. And why? Because why would they?
Yeah,
why?
I mean,
why would they?
Logistically, why would they? If I've got 100 women, all I'll be your Monday, I'm your Tuesday, I'm your Wednesday. Why would a guy settle down? There's absolutely zero reason, and I mean, you nailed it perfectly. I mean, I follow other podcasters and guys that really research this stuff, and all your information is spot on. That when these women who are, I'm going to be a little mean here, 3s or 4s or 5s. And all that, and they're like, "Ooh, I slept with a 9 last night. That's what I deserve." No, that's not going to work, because that 9 is like, I'll sleep with 3s and 4s all day long. I'm never going to marry one of them. And you get your body count. It's not a good picture. Having a high body count, I don't care what they say, it's not a good picture. I want to know that the woman that I'm with is not, riding the carousel.
Correct. And ladies, if you think that your body count does not matter to a man, you are mistaken. Your body count matters a lot to a man. Your body count will not matter to a man who just wants to hit it, but a man who wants to keep you. Let me tell you something. If I find out that my woman has a high body count, she's out. She's out, because it shows a level of discipline that she just doesn't have. Because women control access to sex, not men. Right. But men control access to relationships, not women. Yeah. So, if women are giving up sex to a whole bunch of men, it shows a lack of discipline. So it's just like, how would a woman feel if she found out that her boyfriend had like 10 girlfriends? Like every girl that he goes out with, he makes her his girlfriend. Well, then it's not special to be his girlfriend then.
Yeah.
Women are like, I can count on one hand how many girlfriends I've had in my entire life, because my women know that it is a rare, special thing to be my girlfriend.
Right.
And they often want me to take it to the next level, but I tell them those 5 magic words, and my friends are laughing right now, because my friends who know me, they know the 5 magic words. You are not my girlfriend. Those are the 5 magic words. You've got to portray yourself as a special kind of individual for you to get the high honor of that. Yeah. So, the delusion out there for females is absolutely real. And guys, I would stop messing with these women who are 3s, 4s, and 5s. Like, don't even check on them, because you're making them feel and think that they can actually keep one of you guys, and it's increasing the delusion. When women are lower on the sexual marketplace value, it's like riding a moped. Okay, riding a moped is fun, but you don't want your friends to see you on one, right? So
I've heard that one.
Yeah. So I'll go out there and I'll dip that around the block every once in a while, but Lord, I did not want Dwayne and Eric watching me ride a moped.
Exactly. Yeah.
I am not going to face the bashings that I'm going to get from you guys after you see me on a moped. No, sir.
Exactly. So, I mean, this whole, I think it's actually worse now. It's like 95% or, women are looking for the top 5% of men that they'll swipe right on. But it's because they've been sleeping, they'll sleep with a 9 or 10, but they're thinking they deserve that. kind of taking that back into, so they've got their profile again. The majority of dating is online now, so and I'm picking on Tinder. I'm sure there's a bunch of them out there I don't know about, and I shouldn't know about because I've been married for a number of years. I better not know these. My wife's gonna be checking my phone right after the show here. But
get him, Brandy, get him.
I know. She's like, the chances of him, you know what? If she told me, she's like, someone finds you and takes you, knock yourself out, take over the rent on that guy. I'm good. He's a handful. But so the guy or the girl, let's pick on the guys. The guys, he's updated his profile. He's taken the fish or the middle finger off, or all those things off his profile. He's got some good pictures. He's written up a bio with some of the things that you've talked about. And then he starts getting hits, or doesn't get hits, or he gets ghosted. I heard about that term, being ghosted. I just sounded old when I said that. But they get ghosted, or the games. I mean, when I started redating when I got divorced, and again, divorced twice. I got out there, and one of the things that I learned is, like, when a girl puts in her profile, I don't want drama. I don't, I want a real guy, whatever. That means they're like the kingpin of game playing. They're like the Joker. They're mentally gone. I don't know if that's been your experience, but
it is. When you look at human behavior, the people who are always worried about you cheating on them are usually the people who are cheating on you. The people who are worried about you stealing from them are often people who are stealing from you. And to your point, the women who are saying, I don't want drama, are usually the people who create drama. So it's certainly a red flag, guys. Pay attention to women's bios, because their bios will tell you a lot about them. But also, guys, I want you to understand this. Even though most of us, guys, I'm referring to, don't do a whole lot of reading bios, I certainly would start reading bios. Because once you get, if you're looking for something more than just a fling, and you're looking for a good woman, if you just let people talk, they'll tell you everything you need to know about them. And what I want you guys to understand too, when you create your profile, is you have to pay attention to your bio. Just because you don't read hers does not mean she don't read yours. Women are far more selective with their mate than men are. They are looking at your pictures, they're reading your bios, and they're trying to get a feel. Yeah, they're trying to feel who you are through your words. So if you have these short 1 to 4 word answers on your bio, you're just going to get the cut, guys. You have to make sure that your bio means something. So make a woman feel something for you. Don't write a novel, but most importantly, showcase who you are and not who you think the woman would want to find online. Like when Dwayne was saying, hey, look, I'm a self-proclaimed nerd. I like this, I like that. Yes, say that. Don't like Dwayne would not do well for himself portraying himself to be some sort of like Magic Mike stud or whatever, right? Because women are just going to say, this guy is a liar. And women are always going to be a little skeptical of men anyhow, because of how often and frequent men do not tell the truth. So be transparent and honest. Whenever you do your bio, anyone can write, I really like spending time with family and my job is important to me. Okay, anyone can write that. But, say things that are really like, like, let me give you an example of what you could say. Instead of saying things like, I like to read the Sunday paper, write something like, nothing makes me happier than reading the Sunday paper in my underwear drinking coffee. Say something like that instead. Make it fun. And when you hear, I really enjoy reading the Sunday paper, what did you hear when I said that? You sitting down at a table reading a paper. Not fun. Yeah. But then when I say something corny like, nothing makes me happier than reading the Sunday paper in my underwear drinking coffee, now you have a whole crazy visual. Maybe not the visual she wants to hear, but you get my point though, Also, don't over-explain, that it, like, don't over-explain things that you've got going on in your life. Kind of make it to the point, but don't write her
house arrest. I can't leave the state due to some pending charges. That kind of stuff you might want to. Yeah. Okay.
Humor is often really good too, guys. Use humor anywhere you can. Seduction is all about invoking emotions, and one of the easiest ways of doing.
Looks like we
make her laugh. That's a great way. Like I'll give you an example. Okay, on my bio, and don't you steal this, guys. Don't you steal what I'm about to say. I swear to God, if I find. All right. So on my bio, it says my perfect date would be, and I wrote, if you don't show up as a 300-pound black guy, we share a bottle of wine and we have good connection. So I'm making her laugh, like, can you please not show up as a huge freaking dude, and then we share a bottle of wine and have a great connection. So I always try to make make it a little humorous, and also end with that CTA, that call to action that we were talking about before. A piece of content intended to induce the person that's reading it. Advertising agencies do this all the time with phrases like click here for 50% off or email me for more info. Advertising agencies use that as a tactic constantly. So I want you guys to do it as well. Say things like, hey, let's go ahead and set the record straight. Does pineapple belong on pizza? Message me with your answer, or message me and let me know if you'd rather have a cheesy pickup line or a dad joke. I used one before that said, if you can guess my nationality, I'll buy you tacos. And then I would get women that would email me and go, oh, you're Italian, or you're this, or you're that. And what's the worst that can happen? She finds out that I'm actually Greek, and I go, yeah, I'm Greek. Okay, I owe you tacos. How's Tuesday night sound? And so create that call to action with your guys' bio. So whatever that funny picture you have is, if it's with your dog or if it's, with you being goofy, make that the last profile picture in your bio. Say something that does a call to action and reference the last picture on your profile. It'll make her look through all your pictures and then elicit a response.
Yeah, my wife is going, that no good son. Me and Jimmy did not know each other, but I got to tell you, humor, wins out. So just quick, kind of funny aside. So like you do that question and the girl's really hot and she says, oh, you're Italian. You go, it's me, Mario.
Yeah. If she's hot enough, I'll be Italian that day. Okay?
Yeah, I'm Italian. Hey, what about it? What's the matter with you? Do all that fun stuff. So, So you got the bio, you got everything kind of written out. And again, everyone, the folks out there, if you have questions, shoot those in. You're getting some good dating advice. I'm trying to say you're giving me some great dating advice because I'll be killed later. But
don't say that.
Brandon
will be all over you.
Not gonna happen. So you got the bio and you're out there and you're either getting hits. What do you do? You start. Let's just go positive. You throw out your best lines and everything, and you start getting hits. What do you do?
Okay.
Do you immediately respond? Do you buy her a car? I mean, what do you do?
Don't buy her a car, first of all. Okay.
Check. All right.
But yeah. So let's recap. Okay. So what we've done is we set up a good bio with great pictures that tell a story. We've rewritten our bio. We got a little humor in there that she knows about us. And we make a call to action, and she actually responds to us. So now what do? What a lot of guys complain about on step number 3 is, Jimmy, I get ghosted a lot. It's not going anywhere. Communication is where a lot of guys fall apart. Guys, let me tell you something, man. Women do not want a pen pal, okay? They don't jump online. These women are out there with sometimes kids, oftentimes a full-time job. They're just as busy as you are, if not sometimes busier. They don't want to spend an hour on a dating app every day. Plus, they've got a ton of other matches. They have so many matches sometimes, gents, that they don't have a chance to even reply to these. So they're going to probably pick 3 dudes to reply to. So if you get her to reply to you, you better get your communication game up to par, okay? Stats show that a guy gets between 0 and 5 matches for every 100 swipes on a dating app. That means that the average guy gets rejected about 95% of the time. So when you get matches, you got to make them count. Do not oh my God, guys, do not say hi or hey or hello. Ladies, put it in the comment. Ladies, put it in the comment right now and tell me if you're tired of guys just writing, hey, beautiful. Damn, you're sexy. It's not separating you aside from all the rest of the guys, okay? It's dry, and they're not going to respond. Why would she respond to you when all you said was hey, and other men are saying something more clever? Why? Right. So The first message is really important. Guys, read her bio, ask questions, or come up with something that she'll be impressed with. Actually take the time to read through her bio.
Show you care.
Okay. Now, whenever you are in a conversation with her and you're going a little back and forth, get her number. Get her number and get her off that app as soon as possible.
Right.
Don't be another guy in her messages. She's far more likely to check her text than her online dating profile messages. So you don't want to come off too strong too soon with the number, but you don't want to drag this thing on. If the conversation's going good, then what I'll eventually say is, hey, listen, there seems like there's a connection here. Yeah. Can I get you off this app and let's move this to our phones? What do you say? And then she'll say, absolutely, here's my number. Get her off the app. If she says no or doesn't respond, do not harass her. Embrace the rejection. Okay. The more rejection you get, the closer to success you're going to get. Do not get butt sore. Maintain your frame, guys. Even the best looking dude out there gets ghosted and rejected. It's not you. Sometimes it's nothing more than time and chance. Sometimes it's nothing more than a guy had 4 days ahead of you on the swipe and he's further down that road than you are. Do not take it personally. Just move on. If you do have her number, the objective here is now to get a date. Do not become her pen pal or her new friend. Okay. Invite her on a date. Strike when the iron's hot. If she continues to come up with reasons that she cannot meet up, make a judgment call. But after a couple no's or cancellations, move on. Yeah. Okay. Move on. Guys, the women that I deal with, I only deal with women who have a high interest in me. And not all of them have a high interest in me. I've got women who just do their little one line, hey, how are you? And they'll give me the respect of responding back, but the conversation ain't going anywhere. Or I'll message him and then a full day or two goes by and she doesn't respond. So then I'll respond back to her and go, are you always this talkative? And I'll make it kind of funny, right? And then sometimes that re-engages. But if she's not re-engaging, I will just unmatch. She's out. I only deal with women who have a high interest in me because there's plenty of people out there. So I'm not dealing with women who are not helping me move this conversation. Relationships should be like tennis. I go, then she goes. I go, then she goes. It can't be one-sided.
Okay. So, and I may be wrong here, and I am 100% willing to be corrected. So when you initially matched with that hopefully special lady in your life, I'm assuming you don't send nether region pictures within the first day.
Yeah. Here's a tip. Never send nether region pictures. Never.
Okay.
Never.
I'm in good company.
Never. As a matter of fact, guys, I don't know if you guys have ever read a book by Stephen Covey called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Oh, yeah. If you have not, it's a must read for men and women alike. It's a fantastic book. I think it's number 4 or 5. I can't remember, but book. The chapter is called Fast is Slow and Slow is Fast. When it comes to dating women, if you're pushing up on her for a date or her number or Ella's read the book, or if you're trying to push up on her for sex too soon, it's going to slow her down because fast is slow. So I say that to say this. I make it a point. I do not talk or even hint around about sex. I don't at all. I don't talk about sex on the first date. I never even bring it up. And you want to know why I'm so successful with women? Is because I'm doing the exact opposite that most of you guys are doing. You guys are out there. Some of you guys are out there and you're just going too hard, too fast. And she's expecting and anticipating that I'm going to be trying to jump her bones. And whenever I do not validate her beauty or I don't talk about sex, in the back of her mind, she's wondering, where do I stand with this guy? Does he even like me? He hasn't even tried to even put his hand on me or touch me or talk about sex. And slow is fast. So if fast is slow, then slow is fast. Now I've got her chasing me for her validation and her chasing me because she can't sleep at night knowing that she doesn't know if I even want to sleep with her at all. So she turns up the sexual energy on me, and I'm beating these women off with a stick. So I would use that approach, guys. I would not go with the hard approach. If you're just one of those player guys and you're looking for rotation, well, then in your communication, be honest and transparent and be sexually flirty, fine. But if you're a guy who is looking for something substantial, then you definitely want to make sure that you're not acting like every other guy who appears to want a bunch of one-night stands. You've got to separate yourself and let her know the value of a man that she has in front of her, and that you're not like a lot of the other guys, and she will appreciate that. So that's my advice on communication. Make sure that your text game is on par. If you're an introverted kind of guy, you better find out really quick on how to fix that, because if you are not good at communication via text, you're going to have a really struggling time. The last things I want to leave you guys with on this profile stuff is because guys are very analytical and disciplined and things like that. So let's just recap. Let me give you guys the quick objectives of the first few dates, okay? So I explain in detail from the pictures to the bio to the communication. You guys have all heard me talk. So let's go ahead and recap, okay? On the first date, whenever you get her on a date, I want you guys to make sure that you don't spend a ton of your money and a ton of your time on women that are going to spend and waste your time and your money. My time is equally as important. I'm a very busy man. I'm on my purpose with my career. I am dabbling in other little businesses. I've got, I play baseball. I'm out with my friends. If I'm carving off some time for a woman, it's one of those things where she's got to respect my time. So I also, although I've got the funds to take women out on dates, I'm not dropping $100 on first dates, because if you date 3 women a week, you're going to spend $1,000 a month on dating. And whether you have the money or not, don't be a fool with your money. Spend your money on your wife and your family, not a bunch of women that you'll never see on a second date. If you guys are anything like me, I'll know within the first 15 minutes whether I got something there or not. Yeah. So if that's true, then being a guy who spends money on elaborate dates is not even needed. I recommend a coffee date for the first date, or drinks. So what I'll say to her is, I'll say, listen, let's meet out for drinks. It's not because I'm cheap. I've got the cash. I'll buy that restaurant I'll go to. It's not about that. It's about my time, and my money is valuable to me. Okay. So I'm gonna meet up with her for her drink. I'm gonna spend $20 on drinks, something like that. And I'm gonna sit down in an environment where her and I can talk, and I can get to know her and she can get to know me. Yeah. If there's a second date or a third date, then I'll take her out to dinner. Because I will invest money in a relationship. I absolutely will, and you guys should as well. But don't do that on the first date. Really try to make sure that your first dates are somewhere where it's quiet enough for you guys to talk. Don't take her to the movies. Don't take her to a concert. You cannot have conversations in those environments. Make sure it's a conversation where you guys are, it's less about the coffee, it's less about the drink, and it's more about the chemistry and the connection. Because women are very much about chemistry and connection. And then when you guys go there, be fun, be upbeat. Do not complain about your job. Don't complain about your friends. Have a great time.
Or your ex. Yeah, your ex-spouse or whatever. Yeah, don't do that. So actually, here's a question. Again, we're now in the 2023 now. Who pays? You got he pays, her pays, and Dutch, or 5-finger discount or DoorDash or whatever it's called nowadays. What do you think on that first, second, third?
Yeah, great question. Whoever asked that question is a great one. Always err on the side of the man pays. Always err on the side of man pays. See that men have a hard time with this, and it's for understandable reasons. And the reason why men have a hard time with this is because women's expectations are that we still remain traditional men and we move in a traditional way. Mm-hmm. But the problem that men have is that women are not traditional women. Women are not virgins when they come and they date us. Okay, they're not feminine like they used to be back in the day. They're not submissive the way they used to be back in the day. A lot of women will self-proclaim they don't even know how to cook or take care of a man. Most women in today's world have been raised to be independent, don't need no man, get your education, boss be. So men are still expected to be traditional, but we don't get traditional values from women. And so there's a hypocrisy there. So some guys, especially some red pill guys, they'll take the stance of like, we go Dutch. Okay, cool. Look, I get it. I understand your argument. But the reality is, guys, is that you're if you use that approach, you're probably going to turn off more women than you probably will, attract. And and women do like to be courted, So I still say the man pays. Instead of worrying too much about who pays, be more selective with the women that you go out with. And also remember this, guys, if you use my tips and advice, you're not going to be spending a whole lot of money on the first date anyways. Right. So buy a drink, go have a Bud Light or something at the bar. She grabs herself a martini. You're out the door for $20-$30 at most. It's not going to kill the bank. Don't spend $150 on dinner with a woman that within the first 15 minutes that you're not even going to see again. So if you guys just use the approach of, okay, cool, I'll pay, but I'm going to wait for the higher costing dates to be date 3 instead of date 1, you'll feel a lot more better about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so recap. We kind of talked about the profile pictures, some do's and don'ts. We talked about getting, especially for guys, getting your conversation, learning how to text, and getting off the app as soon as reasonably possible. It makes sense. Some gotchas there on both sides. Actually, I'm thinking red flags. You're on that first date with you hope to be that special someone, and you sit down. What's a red flag that says I need to have an exit strategy? I need to have my buddy ready to text me that the house is on fire. Or what are some red flags that you would tell everyone about?
So let me give you an example of a date that I went on. Okay, I sit down with this woman, good looking woman. Okay, and we're talking a conversation. The conversation is going really well, and she's talking about we're talking about men and we're talking about women, and we're making jokes about the dates that we might have been on, things like that. And she starts talking about how there's no good men out there anymore, and blah 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 blah. Okay, so that was a small little red flag right there. Okay. And then I had asked her, what kind of man are you looking for? Why are these guys not meeting your expectations? And she gives me her answer. And so just like in typical, modern day woman fashion, when she starts explaining the kind and caliber of man that she wants, this man is a very rare type of man. And I said to her, what you're looking for, is understandable. But, can you agree that kind of man is kind of a rare kind of guy, right? And she goes, yeah, I know. And I said, cool, I'm not here to change what you want, want what you want. But what I'm going to ask of you, though, is just for, playing devil's advocate, if you do meet that kind of guy, and I know what kind of guy she wants because she's literally talking to him. I know that I've checked those boxes off, but I'm not going to say I've checked those boxes off. Yeah. I'm going to put her through my shit test. So what I did was I basically said, okay, well, let's say that you meet that kind of guy. What does he get from you?
Ooh.
So, yeah. So she and the answer she gave me was, well, I'm independent. I can pay for my own car. I have my own job. I pay for my own kids. I have 2 businesses. And I can basically support myself, and I'm really successful in my career. And I leaned back a little bit and I said, what you just described sounds like a dude. and she looked at me. I go, you just described yourself as a man. I go, the kind of guy that you say that you want, do you think that he needs or cares about how much money you have or how many businesses you have? And she goes, probably not. I go, well, then if what you're saying is true, then there's not a whole lot of value in the fact that you make money. I go, also too, I said, let me just be honest. I go, you're talking about the fact that you can pay for your own car and that you have, employment and you do well at your job and that you pay for your own rent and whatever. I go, that's the bare minimum that men have to do to even begin to date. And you're bragging about it as though it's a trophy. If a guy doesn't have a car, he can't date. If he doesn't have his own place, he can't date. If he doesn't have a stable job, he can't date. What a lot of women will actually brag about is the very bare minimum that a guy has to do to even begin to date.
Right. And
then she says, well, if guys don't want that, then what do guys want? And I go, look, you've got to figure that out, because men, we don't get the secret sauce of what you guys want. If we want to attract the best caliber woman we have to figure out what women want. And I go, but I'll give you some hints. I go, nowhere in that conversation did you talk about your femininity. How how loving you are, how caring you are, how sweet you are, how supportive you are. I go, those kinds of things are what guys are attracted to.
Yeah.
Guys don't want to date another guy.
Well, some do.
Some, but
not you, not me,
not me, not you, right? But guys who are on dates with women generally don't want to date other guys. So
testing the waters out.
Yeah, and ladies, a lot of you guys are wanting, these masculine men, and I believe that you should want that. I agree, but you have to understand that the more masculine a man is, the more feminine a woman he wants. Okay, so femininity is the kryptonite to masculinity. We just blend together. God made us perfectly balanced with each other. So the thing about it, though, is that, I do believe that women have a little bit of a tough time in this world because they've changed a game where where the game really doesn't suit them very well, because if they are dependent on a man and the man leaves, they're on the streets, so they have to be independent. So they kind of screw themselves a little bit. They really have a hard time. But then if they're too independent, then guys are avoiding them. So there's this tug of war. So women are going to have to find this nice balance of being able to support yourself, but don't walk around like you're some boss, because guys, honestly, guys do not care about your education, and we don't care about how much money you make. So that's not what we care about. We want fit, friendly, feminine, cooperative, submissive, and inspirational women. That's the key to what most men at the top want. We want your femininity. We want your love. We want your caring. We want you to be all the things that we are not, or not necessarily not good at. Right. We want you to be that perfect missing piece to the puzzle, the way that you want us to be that for you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's two halves come together to make a whole. You can't have, too strong, too independent, I mean, those things generally, they butt heads. More than anything. So, we talked about, things that, guys are wanting in women. What do you see from your experience? And I know there's a website. I don't know if you want to get into that, but you talk about what, I guess, third wave feminism, what they all say, this is what we want. I don't know if I can pull up the site if you want to jump into that.
So for the viewers, before Dwayne and I jumped online today, we were kind of chatting and stuff, and we were talking about some of these things and the modern day delusion of what women are asking for. And I told Dwayne to pull up this website, and you guys can see it right now. It's actually called, what's the website called for the I got Standards Bro?
I got standardsbro.com.
Yeah, I got Standards Bro. Now, guys, what this is this is a female delusion calculator. I want all my guys to pay attention to what we're about to do. If you guys are wondering where you stand on the open dating market and how valuable you are and how rare you are, you need to pay attention to this. Oh, and by the way, if you're liking some of these tips, guys, that I'm giving you, okay, I'm not asking you for money, but what I'm asking you for is, can you push that like button for us?
Yeah.
It's free to push a like button. I want you guys to subscribe. Make sure that you guys, when you subscribe, you hit the bell. Please support the channel. Go to Patreon if you want to make a donation. If you guys want to pay me back for the information that I've learned over 15 years, just please hit the subscribe button and push a like button. But moving on to this delusion calculator, let me pull up my computer right here. Hold on.
All right.
So these stats that Dwayne's about to show you, okay? Let me explain for my analytical people. The stats where this data is coming from is there's an income and marital status information, and that's derived from the 2020 annual social and economic supplement. It's called the ASEC of the Current Population Service. That's the CPS, okay? And that's conducted by the Census Bureau of the United States of America. Height and body mass index is derived from the 2017-18 National Health and Nutritional Information Survey. And the reason why it's not done off of the more current surveys, guys, and we use the 2017-18 is because due to the suspension of the survey operations when COVID hit. Yeah. So we're using the surveys from those years. When we talk about marriage, basically when the button, Dwayne's going to show you a button he's going to push called exclude married. And basically what that means here in a little bit, whenever you guys see that, is that just means that when we exclude married, that's married with a spouse present and married with a spouse absent. So if a man is married, that excludes him completely, whether or not his wife is there. Race is a survey done by the ASEC to determine on race. Obesity is basically filters out men who have a body mass index, a BMI of 30 or higher. And the 25 to 30 is overweight, 30 to 40 is obese. So if you look and it says exclude obesity, if a woman does not want a man who falls into the obesity range, that means men who have a BMI of 30 or higher. So with that being said, if Dwayne, if you can scroll to the top just a little bit, okay?
All
so
right.
let's go ahead and put in some parameters for women. Let's say that a woman is looking for a man to marry, okay? And let's say that she is 30 years old, she wants to settle down and get married, and let's say that she's looking for a man, and the lowest age that she'll go for is 25, and the highest age that she'll go for is, let's say, 50 years old. So she's 30, but she's willing to go pick a man who from 25 to 50 years old.
So I got a chance. All right. Woo,
yes,
that was
yes,
close.
yeah. Hey, you know what, Dwayne? Let's go 55. She's 30, and let's go a full 25 years older than her. And most women would probably not want to go that high, but let's go ahead and do it. So you've got a range of 25 to 55 years old, 30 years right here, okay? Right. And then we are excluding men who are married, because you can't marry a man who's already married. So all married men are out. Yep. And then we're going to leave it on any race. Now, the stats show that 80% of the people out there would prefer to date people in their own race. But we're just going to say, hey, no matter if he's white or black or Asian or Hispanic, we're going to go ahead and include all races. Now let's go ahead and just do minimum height. And most women will say they only want a man that is at least 6 foot tall. Okay, so let's go ahead and just put let's say 5'10". So he's not even going to be 6 foot. He's just going to be 5'10". The average height for a man in America is 5'9". So he's got to be just above average. He's got to be 1 inch above average. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to exclude, what does that say? Does that say exclude obesity?
Exclude obese. Yep.
Okay. So, if we exclude men who are obese or morbidly obese or super morbidly obese, then we're going to exclude them. Income. Most women are going to probably say, I want a 6-figure guy, but just for illustration purposes, let's go ahead and say you found a guy who makes $80,000 a year. Okay. All right. So right here, here's what we got. Okay. We've got a guy who is between the ages of 25 and 50 years old. He can be any race. He cannot be married. He's at least 5'10", and he makes at least $80,000 a year. Okay. If this criteria is larger than what most women's criteria are, because most women will say fit and 6 foot and 6-pack, a 6-pack and 6 figures. That is not even this guy. This criteria right here is a lot of men who are listening to this podcast. So what we're going to do is, based on all the stats that I just showed you guys, let's see what percentage of men out there in America fit that category.
Drum roll, please.
This woman is looking for the top, scroll down, 1.4% of men.
Woo!
So if you're a man listening to this right now and you fit in that category or better, you are in the top 1.4% of men out there. And if you're a woman listening to this podcast and you say, hell, I won't even date a guy unless he's 6 foot tall or whatever, then you have to understand that you're looking for the top 1% at best kind of man. The delusion of women out there is just astronomical, okay? And you are a 4.5 on the delusion scale, and you're a cat enthusiast. That means you just need to go ahead and get a cat and die alone, because you are not your chances of finding a man, and it's just really, really rare. And women, understand, we still have not factored in character, charisma, humor, how he makes you feel, how big his Johnson is, how good he is in bed, whether or not he's a good kind of guy, whether or not he's bad, whether or not he has kids, or whether or not he doesn't have kids. We haven't factored in any of that. And you're still at the bottom the top 1.4%.
Wow. 4 out of 5 cat enthusiasts. Man. Yeah.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it where we put in what most women want. Go back and put in like 6
All right.
foot, 6 figures.
All
Like
right,
go ahead and keep all that the same. Let's just go to 6 foot, and just to make the guys laugh. And let's go to 100 grand. And so he can't be obese. He's got to be 6 foot. He's got to make 100 grand. He can't be married. He can be any race and 30 years spread. And we're looking for the top.
Let's see. Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Ladies, you're looking for something more rare than a half of 1%.
Wow.
Before we factored in all of those things. But good news, you're still only a 4.5 on the delusional scale. So at least you're not 5 out of 5.
Right. Wow.
So go on down to the ASPCA, find yourself a nice cat, get a couple of them because they need good homes, and just be okay being single.
Yeah, there should be a link for the ASPCA or something right after they click on this. Wow. So not married, 6 foot tall, not obese, and earned 6 figures.
Correct.
And this is based on HHS CDC. This is our all the government data from the Census Bureau. So there's
Correct.
no weird, like we're doing some weird stuff to fool the ladies. This is it. Wow.
All of these stats can be easily verified by just looking at either the NHANES, which is the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. That's for obesity. You can find out, the marital status from basically the Census Bureau, race by the ASEC survey, obesity by basically the NHANES. That's the calculation on the BMI. These are all verified, government-funded, regular surveys that are done every single year. And this is not something that Dwayne and Jenny came up with to make you guys look like fools. This is based on stats, data, and statistics.
And then Roberts asked, what's the website? Because I'm sure every guy's going out there right now. Put that in your dating profile as a suggestion. I've got standardsbro.com. Try to paste that into the chat so we got that, because I'm sure a lot of guys are going to be going to that website right after.
Yeah. Robert's already clicking on it right now, and Robert's already forwarded to 4 of his friends.
Oh yeah, he's all like, dude, you got to check this website out. This is awesome. This is actually worse than what I thought. I mean, because the stuff I had been following, based on these numbers, they were saying they're probably just being very general and saying the top 5%. Of men in America, isn't that 5? But when you look at this and then you balance that against the actual Census Bureau data saying that it's 0.4%, and that's getting a 55-year-old guy. I mean, look at me at 50. Can you imagine, hooking up with me at 55? I know my wife is just playing like, ugh. But I mean, that's putting out there to 55. Basically, you're saying, I don't care how old he is. He's got to be, breathing, 6 foot tall, and make 6 figures. 0.4% chance.
And also too, what women need to understand also is that a man does not hit his financial stride until the ages of 45 to 60 years old. So these women out there who are looking for guys in their 20s or 30s that are making 100 grand, those guys by and large do not exist. And this right here is statistical proof right there.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Robert. He's like, listen, all my wife's girlfriend's about to get this test soon.
That should be a billboard, quite honestly, because the women are like, they're not giving us ugly, fat dork guys a shot because they're like, I want this, type of guy. And it's like Robert put in the notes there, for everyone wondering, it's IGotStandardsBro.com. Yep. But they're like, I demand this, and this, and this. And then you asked a great question. Okay, I got all this, or, well, it's great you're looking for those things. I'll say I'm obviously not that guy, but what do you bring to the table?
Right.
And then you get like, what do I say? What do I do? I'm confused,
Yeah, and so I'll have these, not on my dates necessarily, but I'll have these questions with women that I do counseling with, and they'll complain about not being able to find these guys. And so of course I ask them, what kind of guy you want. They'll list a lot of these things, and then here's what I've noticed, Dwayne. is that when you ask a woman, what kind of man do you want? You could fit her answers into a book as thick as the book War and Peace, a huge old book. This is all the things I want. Then I'll turn right around and I'll ask her, well, that kind of guy that you want, what would he want from you? And you could fit her answer on the back of a stamp. They just don't know.
Yeah.
So you know, the thing about it, guys, is that you have to understand that you are, most of these guys listening to this podcast, if you're feeling down and out, if you are feeling like, you know, oh my God, I'm just not as valuable as I think I am on this open dating market because I get ghosted, guys, no, you absolutely are. Okay. You have a lot of value. And Dwayne and I wanted to show you this data because I want you guys to understand that all the hard work that you've put into yourself is valuable. And these women may not understand how rare you are, but whenever you go on a date, if you know that you're in the top 5% of men or 1.5% of men, I want you to maintain your confidence and your masculine frame. Understand that, guys, when it comes to relationships, men control access to relationships. Women control access to sex. And if women tell you, I'm looking for an LTR, and you hold the key to that LTR, then you have to maintain your frame, and they must understand they've got to compete with you, compete for you, not you competing for them. The reason why women are so delusional is because they got a bunch of guys who just want to hit it and quit it in their inbox. And that's why that's given them the illusion that they have the pick of all men, but they only have the pick of men when it comes to them sleeping with them, not wedding them. So, guys, that's why whenever, if you guys were ever speak with me one-on-one, or we ever do a counseling session or whatever, one of the first things I'm going to make sure that you understand is that you guys have to be on your purpose. You guys must be focused on what you do. Stop messing around with these women. Get yourself hobbies, get yourself a circle of influence, go out there and live your life. And I promise you, these women will come to you and want to plug themselves into your lifestyle.
Yeah. And actually, Robert, this explains a few things. You said here that score when you include married men goes up 6 times. Maybe that's why these women look for married men.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I don't know if these women are using that as a natural tactic. Hey, you know, I have a 6 time better chance of getting a married guy. I don't know if they were actually using that, but I certainly know that women are looking at these guys and they're seeing that these guys are having successful relationships and they want what that guy has and they want to be heard.